And here we are live once again. Good evening, folks. Welcome to Friday Night Tech Talk. Glad that you're here. And if you're new here, we do this every Friday night at this time. We take some stories from the last Friday to this Friday, so a week's worth of stories. I pick out some articles that I think might be of interest to other tech heads like myself, and we discuss them a little bit in the comments. I try to pick articles that you probably haven't seen everywhere all over the place and that will teach us something or just be interesting to us. Of course, if there's a major event during the week, I usually highlight that in an article, but I don't believe there was. As always, as I say every week, let me know if I'm wrong, if there was an event that I missed. But uh, first one in here was Eleanor. She was in here like a half an hour ago. So I was glad to see that she was here. And nobody else has shown up as yet. I have checked a couple of times to see if Ted was going to be with us. I've heard nothing. Let's check once more. And no, no from Ted. So I guess that usually means there's a chance he might be with us, but we'll see. He's out in Dallas where it's an hour earlier, so he could be out with his photography business. Who knows? But like I say, we do this every week. So let me show you my web page where we have the show notes every week. So if you go to mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, just click on today's date. You'll get the show notes just for tonight's show. Okay, and Ellie's in here. Glad to have you here. Okay, so as I do every week when I show you my webpage, we'll go over the stories, a little preview of the stories that we're going to talk about tonight. So, we're going to start because yesterday was the big deal. ChatGPT 5 finally came out. We've been waiting and it has been delayed. So, I just said ChatGPT 5 has finally arrived and is free for all for now, at least. I'm the one who put for now, at least. Nobody said it's not going to be free, but usually they start free and then they start charging at some point. But right now, it's free for everybody. A lot of good things said about it, but maybe a couple of hours before I was at work today, and I found a story that a number of people on Reddit are not happy with ChatGPT 5. So I'm going to give you that story, and then I'm going to show you the other story that I found, just to keep it fair, I guess. Here's Brian. Glad you're here, brother, as always, and he's as faithful as he always is. So we've got Eleanor, Ellie, and Brian. Three of the most faithful there is. Thank you, Brian, as always, brother. So I'm going to tell you about ChatGPT 5, and then I'm going to tell you the downside of what people are saying about it. So that's where we're going to start. Then, of course, with the Google event coming up on the 20th, and I did tell you guys that the 10 Pro Fold might be delayed as far as shipping. It should be announced on the 20th. But I found a story on Phonerator that kind of said Google already has made a commercial, and you'll see it in the story, kind of making fun of Apple for saying, their Apple Intelligence was coming. Well, it still hasn't arrived. Google made a commercial kind of making fun of that. Now they're having an event and something of theirs, their big thing, is going to be delayed. So he was saying maybe they need to just shut up, essentially. So we'll go over that story. Followed by another Pixel 10 Pro Fold render and add. And of course, we're going to take a look at the render and we'll take a look at it on on X, I should say, and we'll go over that. So those are the two, what I figured were the two main stories tonight. Following that, found the story. The state of Illinois is the very first state. I said, Illinois, no, you cannot have an AI strength. They have actually passed a law that you can't have therapists just be AI and nothing else with no professionals. I think that's a good idea, but that's just my opinion. Just thought it was an interesting story, and they're the only state that has done that so far. So, next up, I said Apple working with multiple OEMs to invest heavily in American manufacturing. And of course, you know that Tim Cook has been trying hard to please the president, and I think he finally did. So we'll take a look at that story because they'll be working with 3 or 4 American manufacturers to put a lot of money. I think it's $100 million total back into the U.S. So that's a good thing. So, of course, I did follow that up because right after that story came out, Trump announced 100% tariff on foreign-made chips. Not American-made, just foreign-made. So I thought that story kind of goes together. And he waited until he announced that deal with Apple before he announced the tariff on the foreign-made chips. So we'll go over that. And then lastly, Phone Reader has a story. I just said, Yawn, I'm ready for the next iPhone. He said he hasn't been so, putting in my own words, unexcited about a new iPhone in years, but you'll see what I'm talking about. So those are the stories that we're going to go over. If Ted does happen to come in, I will certainly let you guys know. We haven't had Ted for, I guess, about a month now. So we'll see if he does come in. Always a better show when he does. Other than that, of course, it'll be a fairly quick show with just me. But last week we got past an hour, and so I guess we probably will again. So with nothing else new in the comments, let's start with now. Let me stop sharing for a second. Now, you guys are going to have to bear with me. Usually when I want to play a video from within one of the stories, I didn't used to be able to get you guys to hear the sound, but then I figured it out. There are 2 ways to share a screen in StreamYard. You can do it within the Chrome tab, which allows me to play a video that's in the story, and you guys can hear it. If I do it in a window, as I was just doing with the show notes, then I can't play a video and have you guys hear it. So bear with me because I think I've got 3 stories in a row that have a little video embedded in the stories. I'm going to try to do it with the Chrome tab. So bear with me a little bit till I get used to doing this. So, first story. ChatGPT 5 has finally arrived and is free for all for now at least. This was on Tom's Guide. So I'm going to click it. That's the other thing. When I click it here, you guys don't see it until I go over to that particular tab that I just clicked. Now you guys can see it. So this is one of the stories I believe that has a little video that I want you guys to be able to see and hear. So I'm going to leave it out of reader mode until we get down to that. So ChatGPT 5 is here. 7 biggest upgrades you need to know. This was written by Amanda Caswell yesterday. The human-like model is available and free to everyone for now. So I'm going to give you this nice story all about ChatGPT 5. Then we're going to see the story from the other side. But let's start with the good stuff first. OpenAI has officially launched GPT-5, its most advanced AI model to date. In a pre-briefing, Sam Altman shared that once he tried GPT-5, he had a hard time going back to GPT-4, and that's one of the complaints. It's impossible right now, I gather, to go back to GPT-4, liking the revert to using an old iPhone. Designed to be more useful, more accurate, and more human than any other version before, this is by far OpenAI's smartest and most efficient model. GPT-5 is now rolling out in ChatGPT and the API, with the company describing it as a unified system built to deliver the best possible answer every time. Some people don't buy that. No model switching required. This marks a major shift from the current GPT-4/4o experience and introduces a more seamless way to interact with AI. And when we get to the other story, you'll see there are people who want to go back to one of those 4.0 and they're not able to. But we'll go with the good stuff for now. It's way faster. I haven't tried it yet. So, I tend to like Gemini. Yes, I do use ChatGPT once in a while, but you also know that I am no fan of Sam Altman. And I gather in Silicon Valley, there's a lot of people who aren't fans of Sam Altman. But that's neither here nor there. Gone are the days of choosing between GPT-4 Turbo or O series models. GPT-5's single intelligent engine seamlessly delivers the best answer every time. No model selection needed, and OpenAI says that GPT-5 is much, much faster. In demos, GPT-5 generated hundreds of lines of code in a few minutes, and it provides answers to complex questions quickly. It's also more accurate and exhibits stronger reasoning, with significantly fewer hallucinations. So it's not saying no more hallucinations, just fewer, significantly fewer. So I guess that's really good. Whatever you're doing, from coding or drafting documents to seeking health guidance, I don't think I'd use AI for health guidance. GPT-5 adapts, learns context, and offers clearer, more helpful responses. So, I'm not going to read all of this, but we'll go through as much of the good stuff, and then we'll go to the other article that I found today. According to OpenAI, GPT-5 gets more value out of less thinking time. In our evaluations, GPT-5 with thinking performs better than OpenAI O3 with 50 to 80% less output tokens across capabilities, including visual reasoning, agentic coding, and graduate level scientific problem solving. Now, agentic coding, because I'm a former programmer and developer myself, I don't put all that much. Agentic coding probably isn't that difficult and shouldn't be for these models. So I don't put so much faith in that because I don't think it's a big deal. But the other stuff probably is. All right, number 2, a major leap in coding and workflows. Okay, and this is where I want to play you guys this little video. I think it's a minute and something. But I just want to, this is kind of their advertisement, so let you guys hear this. This looks just like the TV. Obviously, they have a high opinion of it, and this is designed to get you to have a high opinion of GPT. It's a minute and a half in total. We're a minute in. Keep in mind, making it your own probably means you're giving it a lot more information about yourself. So I did want you guys to see that little video. Now we can drop it into rear view and just go through the rest. Oh, wait a minute. It's playing itself again. I'm here, but stop it. Said you guys are okay. There, stop it. Okay. Said you guys are going to have to bear with me till I learn how to do this well. So hopefully I'll learn as we go. Okay. So you can see that was a major advertisement, if you ask me. GPT-5 is OpenAI's strongest coding model ever. It can create entire websites, apps, and games, even for users who don't know how to code. And SuperSap did a nice video about it where he demonstrated it making games, and it did a pretty good job. So if you guys want to see a good example of it, look up SuperSap's video. Developers can expect smarter debugging, cleaner front-end design, and more agentic behavior with tools like freeform function calling, verbosity control, and reasoning effort toggles. For non-technical users and casual users, GPT-5 also enhances writing workflow, supports health-related questions with improved contextual understanding, and is more proactive in helping users weigh options or understand complex information. OpenAI notes that it doesn't replace medical professionals, yeah, I wouldn't want it to, but it's now better equipped to support health-related discussions. That's kind of scary if you ask me. New customization and voice upgrades. Now keep some of these in mind, because when we go to the other story, that they have answers to some of this stuff. ChatGPT now lets users customize the look and tone of their experience. You can change chat colors and choose from new preset personalities like cynic, listener, or robot. Voice interactions have also improved with adaptive tone control and higher usage limits for paid users. OpenAI is unifying all users under this new voice mode and retiring the previous standard voice within 30 days. Connect Gmail, Google Calendar, and more. Like I said, you're going to be giving up more of your personal information, and you can see using these. Yeah, it's nice that it syncs with them, but that's more information it's got about you. Another standout feature is Google integration. Users will soon be able to connect Gmail, Calendar, and contacts directly to ChatGPT. So not yet, but soon. Once enabled, the assistant will intelligently know when to reinforce your data, but to reference your data. Yeah, because it knows a lot more about you without having to be explicitly told. So I try to stress to people, yeah, you're getting more convenience, but you're also giving up more of your own privacy. Always keep that in mind. Safer and more proactive. OpenAI says GPT-5 brings noticeable improvements in reasoning accuracy and reliability. Well, we'll see what the other story says. It hallucinates less, adapts better to your context, and introduces a new feature called safe completion. In other words, the model won't blindly comply with risky prompts, let's hope not, or flatly refuse either, so somewhere in between. Instead, it aims to give the most helpful response within safety boundaries, offering clear reasoning when it can't help. Smarter health conversations. They're really pushing that health stuff. GPT-5 brings its best health-related performance yet, but let's be clear, it does not replace medical professionals. What it does offer is smart support. The model is tailored to flag concerns, ask the right questions before appointments, help, it's probably going to aggravate doctors, I guess, help interpret results and adapt advice by context, geography, and knowledge level. Plus, with fewer hallucinations and an emphasis on safe completions, it avoids over-promising. But they keep stressing fewer hallucinations, which says to me that's the third time they've mentioned it. It must still be somewhat prominent with hallucinations. That's my guess. And the seventh, and I think the last point, is a new model for everyday writing. And this is where it would help me probably. Content creators, this one's for you. GPT-5 offers more precise and adaptable writing skills than any prior model, intuitively adjusting to tone, structure, and context. That means whether you're addressing emails, blog posts, or reports, GPT-5 will offer enhancements for real workflows, even anticipating what you need, because it's learned a lot about you, and making suggestions that feel tailored. With a 256K token window, it can maintain long context coherence across documents. Coupled with safe completions and personalized prompts, GPT-5 may be the first AI writing tool that truly feels like a writing partner. I don't want a writing partner. That's just me, though. And available now and free for all users. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this one, and I'm going to go back and share screen with the other one, just in a normal window. Okay. And this is kind of the answer to the article I just shared with you guys. So, Neil, this was on Tom's Guide, just came out today, 3 hours ago. Nearly 5,000 GPT-5 users flocked to Reddit in backlash. It feels like a downgrade, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. And this was by Dave LeClaire, like I said, 3 hours ago. So this really gives you the other side of ChatGPT. Newer isn't always better. And this, I believe, we can just drop into reader view. Okay. OpenAI had the internet's attention when it announced GPT-5. Yeah, yesterday they sure did. Some users have taken to social platforms like Reddit to complain that the new model isn't where it should be, and you can't even go back, I told you that, to the old ones if you don't like the latest release. Ellie said, yep, you're right. Valid points about the use of this particular AI. And Ryan, okay. So when you go to ChatGPT as a Plus user, you'll see a message that says ChatGPT now has our smartest, fastest, most useful model yet with thinking built in. So, okay, I guess because a programmer, developer, they can't think. They want you to think they can think. They can't think. Trust me. It's probably going to be many, many years before they can, if they ever can. So you'll get the best answer every time. Is that really the case? If the internet is to be believed, maybe not so much. What users don't like about GPT-5. There's actually a thread on Reddit titled GPT-5 is horrible, with 4,600 upvotes and 1,700 comments. In the head, the user said short replies that are insufficient, more obnoxious AI-style talking, less personality, and way less prompts allowed, with Plus users hitting limits in an hour. That's not good. And we don't have the option just to use other models. Yeah, the Plus users are people who are paying. So, yeah, Brian says, yeah, AI needs some refinement. Yeah, it's going to have to learn a lot, but trust me, it cannot think. There's no such thing as one that can. Another Reddit user called Headwaters Carto writes that I like how the demo, they were like, if it gets something wrong, no worries, just ask again. I'm actually going to run 3 prompts at once and pick my favorite. Like, how is that better? I feel like I'm taking crazy. Yeah, I mean, just to say, just run it again. Well, you're just saying you're going to get multiple answers. And so then where's your answer? Well, you probably don't have one, really. Perhaps a new model that isn't as good as the older ones would be more acceptable if you could still access 4.0 and the rest, but you can't. For ChatGPT Plus users who are now limited to 200 messages per week in GPT-5, this is a significant issue. So it sounds like they've given to take away. There's some scathing feedback for Sam Altman and company. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, especially after the presentation hyped the release of a true game changer. Another user in the comment section agreed. Answers, I feel like I'm doing double talk. Answers are shorter and so far not any better than previous models. Combine that with more restrictive usage, yes, that sounds bad. And it feels like a downgrade branded as the new hotness. Yeah, that's true. Reddit user Run You Wolves said, "It's like my chat GPT suffered a severe brain injury and forgot how to read." Wow. It's atrocious now, which is harsh, but it does describe some of the issues with the way the new model delivers answers. So people don't like this new model, or a lot of people don't. Down further, there's some paragraphs about people who do like it, but yeah, this is not good. If you're in the camp that's unhappy about GPT-5, there are plenty of ChatGPT alternatives making waves with their own models. Personally, I like Google Gemini, as do I, for parts of my workflow, but there are options, which is always a good thing. Some people love GPT-5. Okay. Are you happy with OpenAI's GPT-5? Yes, no, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Uh, where are we? Okay. There are reasons to be upset about ChatGPT 5 as outlined by the Reddit users above, but it's easy to get caught up in the idea that Reddit's opinions represent the entire internet. Yeah, Reddit's opinions never represent everybody's. Many ChatGPT power users appreciate the capabilities of GPT-5 and what it has to offer. So you're getting both sides here. Just read out the detailed breakdown of the differences between GPT-5 and 4, and you'll get an idea of how much new stuff is there. It's a far more capable version overall, despite some of the flaws. Our AI editor, Alex Yu, said GPT-5 is clearly a major upgrade to GPT-4, and I think even the most disgruntled users would agree. I hope so. Yeah, and it says it cannot complete with perplexity. Perplexity is faster and more accurate almost every time. So I guess she's already tried it out. I've only used perplexity once ever. Like I said, I tend to lean on Gemini when I'm using it, and I do it too much. That's what stops me from using the others very much. But it satisfies me. So, one user in the negative Reddit thread said, "Ask any gamer. Nothing works on patch day. Perhaps this is just a launch issue and GPT-5 will improve its tone and responsiveness to users over time. Or maybe that's how it's meant to be. Only time will tell." Okay, so that's fair. With all that said, I think it's essential that OpenAI considers the feedback. Perhaps the company can increase the limits or bring back 4.0 for plus users. I agree. But they ought to be able to go back. Whether it will do any of these to make the angry users happy remains to be seen. But for now, the internet is clearly split on what GPT-5 brings to the table. So that's why I wanted you guys to see that one. It's obviously seems like a 50-50 split. So it's out there. I gather it's better. Oh, wait a minute. Ted, are you here? I think Ted's here. Okay, I added Ted in. I hear something. At least I think I hear something. Ted, let me know if you can hear me. I bet you he
Good
can.
evening. This is GPT-5.
Okay. How you doing?
All right.
Glad you got here. So did you hear my split down the middle between GPT-5?
Yep. That would explain why my YouTube feed was all filled with Chat GPT stuff.
Yeah, well, it was a big deal yesterday, but I just found this other article a little while before I started, and I said, well, I better show that one too. So it sounds like it's better, but some people aren't happy with it as yet. Ellie says, "Hi, Ted."
Hi, Ellie. Sorry, I need to
And
go run and get some rocks for my drink.
Brian says, but companies will try to use AI to cut costs and kill. That is true. And they're all going to have to wake up at some point because um, they're hiring and hiring and hiring. They're also laying off a bunch of people, firing a bunch of people, but they keep hiring because it needs more people. You're not going to be able to get rid of everybody just because of
Yet.
AI. So,
Yet.
Brian said, "What's up, Ted?"
Speaking of, I heard a chief of IT for a school district. He ended up leaving because the district wasn't adopting AI fast enough for his liking, so took a position
People are
elsewhere.
ridiculous. So he quit his job because they weren't doing what he wanted. Well,
Yeah.
To me, you're better off with an employee like that. It's like, people who think you hire them to do what they want. You don't probably need that person. That's my guess.
I mean, there are positions like that. No, like you're hired. They have an idea, and you're gonna hire me for that. That's like for directorship roles or Apple when they hired Steve Jobs back.
Even the 15 years I spent as a consultant, as a contractor with programming and stuff. Yeah, they hired me for my expertise. That didn't put me in charge, though, and that didn't leave me in a position where you got to do what I say or I leave. And I've seen that before.
That's for the roles you got. You were hired to be as a technician for your skills to do what they wanted.
Exactly. And that was the thing, because we all had our very specific expertise. Mine was in online immediate stuff and live stuff, and they hired me because I was a real expert at that, where other people weren't. Well, sure, they hired me for my knowledge. They didn't hire me for me to tell them what to do. That's my point.
Well, this guy felt he was hired to tell the school what to do when it comes to their IT policy, and he felt the school needed AI.
I always find people like that amazing. But hey, I hope he gets another job, or he starts his own company and then he's successful. Who knows?
I think he might have a position somewhere else already.
Yeah, good. Okay, now.
Not so good. Not someone else. We're gonna have to worry about AI somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably wherever else better than the school.
Yeah. And schools traditionally, they're usually not high up. They're usually, back, just like the government. They're almost always a little behind on tech stuff. Even when I worked for the FBI, they were behind, So schools, I wouldn't expect schools to be on the cutting edge of much of anything when it comes to tech, because traditionally that's not where they are. So now I've got two more coming up about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Do you want to do one of those? Because I'm going to do them a little different, because I have little pieces of video inside of both of those. I'll want to play that video, but you can read down to there, but I won't be able to put it into Reader View. So you want to take one?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. All right, I'm going to pull up the first one. I just said the Pixel. Oh, let me share screen.
I did not make this Paloma to my liking. What did I do?
He's not happy with his own drink.
Or maybe it's just been a while since I had one.
Okay. I said the Pixel 10 Pro Fold delay. Google's price for mocking Apple, and I had to store it on Phone Arena, so I'm going to pull it up. And I'm going to leave it out of Reader View.
Foreign-made chips. That one.
Say it again.
Is it it's not the Trump announces 100% tariff?
No. This is way up near the top. It's the second story down. Pixel 10 Pro Fold delay.
Okay, I see it.
Okay. All right, I've got it pulled up. I'm not going to put it into Reader View until after we get past the little video. But read down to there, and I'll stop you.
Yeah. Okay.
You're drinking pretty good for somebody who doesn't like his drink.
I'm just thirsty, and it's cold. The ice is making it refreshing.
All right, you're allowed.
The Pixel 10 Pro Fold might be coming soon, making Google look silly for mocking Apple. Google's recent Apple attack ad may come back to bite the search giant sooner than anyone expected if that rumor about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold's delay proves to be true. By Adrian Diakonoscu.
Yeah, he does a lot of the articles.
If the foldable model seemed like the most exciting member of Google's impeding Pixel 10 handset family to you after its key specs leaked out in full last month, that excitement may have taken a big hit earlier this week with a new rumor calling for a last-minute delay. Although we don't know the delay cause just yet, and obviously we can't even be sure if the delay is real before the Pixel 10 Pro Fold is officially unveiled, the timing of the latest report claiming to provide inside info on Big G's product launch schedule feels quite unfortunate. That's because the search giant took subtle but very clear shots at Apple in a new Pixel 10 teaser this week that are likely to come back and bite it sooner than anyone expected. When you're mocking a tech,
that in a minute. Go ahead.
When you're mocking a tech industry rival, you need to at least do one of two things. Well, either crack a joke that would make Richard Pryor jealous with its structure, setup, and originality, or find a way to attack the competition that even its most ardent fans can agree with.
All right, I'm going to play this little video. This is a short one. Hopefully, I have it upright so you guys can hear it. If you can't hear it, let me know. So here we go.
I can't hear anything, by the way.
Wait, did you say you can or can't hear it?
Cannot hear anything.
Okay, let me. That means I pulled it up. And let me come out of it, and we'll go back in, and I'll start again. Said you'll have to bear with me, folks. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to share screen again, except this time I'm doing it in the Chrome tab the way I need to do it. Okay, and now we should be able to hear it. Okay. All right, so let me bring it back to the beginning. Now you should be able to hear it.
If you buy a new phone because of a feature that's coming soon, but it's been coming soon for a full year, you could change your definition of soon, or you could just change your phone.
So you can see they're making fun of somebody.
Apple Intelligence.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about their embarrassment for their upcoming Pro Fold. Okay, go ahead when you're ready. You ready?
Bottom line, Google had to make a valid point or simply make us laugh our head off for its latest pre-release Pixel 10 not to work.
If you buy a new phone because of...
That was my fault. Go ahead.
Apple Intelligence reference in the 30-second video above. I'm no longer amused. Not if the Pixel 10 Pro Fold gets slapped with a coming soon label on August 20th rather than the same August 28th release date as a Pixel 10. Now, I know what you're going to say, and I partially agree. 6 weeks is not the same as 12 months and counting, but a new and largely repetitive Android phone is also not the same thing as a groundbreaking set of AI features. Don't get me wrong, I'm not here to defend what's clearly a total Apple Intelligence rollout fiasco, but a 6-week delay could be damaging for Google software foldable. I mean, no, it's not really the same thing at all because Apple.
It isn't, but they were making fun of delays, and now they're coming out on their event coming up in 2 weeks, and they're delaying something. And they did the same thing last year. Remember?
I mean, yeah, they're delaying a hardware feature, like they're delaying their hardware, like you can't buy it. Apple was like, saying buy our hardware and our software will come on it soon, but that's never
exactly, and which is true. But I agree with him that their timing was just awful, especially when last year I had to wait to get my Pixel 9 Pro for 3 weeks or 4 weeks because of the same exact thing.
It's pretty obvious that Big G's original plan was not to kick off the Pixel 10 Pro Fold sales in October. So if that ends up happening, it's hard not to imagine issues with key components like the foldable display hinge or that beefed up battery. Whatever the cause, Google's image will certainly have to suffer from a tardy release of any Pixel 10 series device, especially after the same thing happened with the Pixel 9a mid-ranger a few months back. Okay, so 6 weeks doesn't sound like a long time to you. It does to me, but let's just, okay, yeah, 6 weeks doesn't sound that long. I mean, have you guys like put in pre-orders already? Is that why it feels so long?
No, but it's just
Then
that
it's not long. If there's no pre-orders, then why are you guys?
because the day you're announcing the thing, you're saying right away, oh, but we're delayed. They did the same exact thing last year. That's a bad look.
I mean, yeah, it's not a good look, but like if you didn't take pre-orders, I can, you know, it doesn't.
No, I agree with him. I
The
did a
consumers
video
are
the
not
other day
really
about
hurt.
how it was going to be delayed.
The
And
consumers are not hurt in this. Only Google is hurting, not the consumer.
well, consumers who want the phone the day you announce it are going to be hurt. Like I said, last year I had to wait a month for it. This year sounds like it's going to be more than that.
Not hurt.
That hurts consumers.
You
That's
get to
probably
hold
gonna
on
hurt
to your
their-
money longer. That you're not
That's
hurt.
that's also going to hurt their sales because people are not going to forget that this is the third time in a row that this has happened.
Let's see. Ellie's missing her Pixel XL. Wow. You should hold on to it. You know, I think the first Pixel, and the Pixel XL are the only ones that can back up. To
I
Google Photos
still
with
have my Pixel 9 Pro, which just got updated last night, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I still have my like I have the original Pixel, but it's just there to, you know, upload photos and videos to Google Photos
Right.
at unlimited
Right.
storage. That's right, Brian. Unlimited storage is key.
Yeah.
So Android 15's first stable version for eligible Pixel phones, that was clearly supposed to happen in a good couple of months earlier than that. And it was actually not the first or last time Google delivered an important update later than it had planned for mysterious reasons. The Pixel 9a was unveiled with a coming soon label attached to its name just a few months ago. Before you call me an ice sheep, which I always relish, by the way, I must highlight that I remain extremely excited about the Pixel 10 Pro as long as it's packed with a 5,000 milliampere plus battery capacity. And I'm even willing to wait until October before casting final verdict on its chances becoming a global box office hit. I just appreciate it if Google chose a different advertising path for the device.
Because of a feature that's coming soon.
Sorry about that. I hit
And
my
if any
earbud.
delays were clearly mentioned and explained on August 20th, wouldn't you?
So I agree with him 100%. It's just a bad look that they're having this kind of issue when they're making fun of Apple for a different kind of delay. I'll give you that, but still, it's a bad look, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not a positive look, but you know, it's not so bad. It's not as bad as Apple's. Like, you know,
No, it's nowhere near as bad as Apple's, but Apple isn't making fun of anybody over it, but Google is. So that's the difference, in my opinion.
That's true.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next one, which is still the same thing. We've got some renders that I want to get to. And again, I'm going to put it where I can play the little videos. Okay, I want to share this tab. Okay. Still talking about the Pixel 10 Pro Fold. Pixel 10 Pro Fold official render and promo ad leaks ahead of its launch. Official details are still under wraps, but a new leak offers an early glimpse. This was written by Joanna Romero yesterday. So I'm going to leave it out of reader view until we get past the little video that I want to show you guys. A new leak has just surfaced showing what appears to be an official render of Google's upcoming Pixel 10 Pro Fold in the rumored moonstone colors. I guess this gray is what they're calling a moonstone color, I guess. These were followed up with an animated render showing the device unfolding, and you'll see that later, and showcasing the hinge plus a lifestyle image of the device being held and showing its back. The images were shared by reliable leaker Evan Blass on X, of course, and he's always right, giving us an early look at the next generation foldable in Google's Pixel lineup. And we'll see what he put out there in a few minutes. While Google has yet to confirm anything, this leak would signal that the Pixel 10 Pro Fold will join the main Pixel 10 series during the upcoming Made by Google event on August 20th. If accurate, it would mark Google's latest attempt to compete in the foldable device race following last year's Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Oh, and by the way, my main phone today was my Open. So I'm still using my OnePlus Open, and I still love it. Oh, and my backup. This was folding day for me because my backup was my Samsung. What's the word I'm trying to say?
Overexpose it.
My Samsung Galaxy Flip 7 FE. And I'm loving this, even though it's the FE, I am still loving this. So anyway, I was having a folding day at work. So now I'm going to, there's the pictures that Evan Bass put out there, but let's get down to where, okay, now we're going to click here. And if I've shared this right, you should be able to see what he put out on next, a little quick little videos. Okay, so there's the first one. Looks good, I'll say that. This one's like 11 seconds. And now we'll go to the next one. This one is 12 seconds. This was all on X. And then we have one more. And this is the watch.
You know, what are you looking at?
X. When I clicked on the
okay, we don't see you clicking on it. Sure.
Oh, okay. But I just wanted you to see what he put out there. So that was the whole point of that. All right, now I can drop it into Reader View and finish this off. But we got a really good look at the Pixel 10 Pro Fold.
Did you click?
What?
Click on it again.
Oh, you want me to go back? Wait.
Yes, please. On the Pixel 10 Fold.
The moving ones or just the pictures?
The moving ones.
Okay. All right, back into X. All right, now we're back in X.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Now, when I click on each one individually, that's when you see the big one.
Yep, that's when now we're seeing it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this looks.
View.
Right.
And there's the third. There's the Watch 4.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Pixel Watch 3. I doubt that I'm going to get the Watch 4, especially since I just picked up the.
Ooh, that is definitely a watch. Look at that.
Yeah,
card.
absolutely. Okay, let me go back. Let's get out of here. And kicking myself all the way out. All right. Go back to that screen, and now I can go in Window, share here, and now I can go back into the story. And we can go into Reader View. Get rid of the ads. If Reader View cooperates. Come on. There we go. Okay, just wanted you guys to get a good look at that. Both the render and the animation show a design pretty much identical to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, also known as the second generation Pixel Fold. The outer screen appears to have the same aspect ratio that was a fan favorite, as it sits somewhere between the super thin candy bar outer display on older Samsung Galaxy foldables, even last year's Galaxy Z Fold 6, and the original Pixel Fold that adopted a notebook-like shape. Keep in mind that it's hard to confirm precise dimensions from these images alone. Thus, we can't really draw an accurate comparison between this and the current very popular Galaxy Z Fold 7. Additionally, no official specs have been confirmed, but previous reports suggest the Pixel 10 Pro Fold could include the new Tensor G5 chip, yeah, everybody's expecting that, and up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. The software will likely be optimized with Android 16 and include plenty of Gemini AI goodies that could be a central part of the experience. Yeah, I've got Android 16 on my Samsung and my Pixel already. Samsung, for its part, just released the Galaxy Z Fold 7, which includes a slimmer profile, brighter display, and a wider front screen, and even deeper integration with Galaxy AI. That sets a high bar for Google if it hopes to make serious headway in the premium foldable space. I still think they have to compete against the Open. We will have to wait for official confirmation from Google later this month, but if this render proves legitimate, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold could be a tad more refined and competitive offering than its predecessor. It's encouraging to see Google continue to iterate on its foldable. However, expectations will be high, and unless the device addresses past pain points like weight, yeah, that's going to be a big one, battery life, and large screen support on third-party apps, it may still struggle to pull users away from Samsung's more mature foldables. Hopefully, that won't be the case. So, all right, from here on, I think we will just have regular reader view going down because I don't think there are any more videos. Ted, does it seem a little bit better when I'm able to present the videos, especially those with sound?
Yep.
Okay, good. So I'm still learning how to do that consistently, but I guess in a few weeks I'll probably be there.
Ellie, I asked Ellie, she's going to get the Pixel 10 Pro Fold whenever it comes out. Whenever it comes out.
Notice she said must resist. I don't know. So, and that's the big thing is the fact that I still have my OnePlus Open. It makes it a lot easier for me to resist this stuff, so because the Open is still a great phone that I love. Okay. And now, as far as the Pixels, I'm going to have to wait. Remember, I just got my Z Flip 7 FE, and I'm going to have to wait until next month when the Apple phones come out because I'm still using my Apple 15 Pro Max. In my iPhone 15 Pro Max, I skipped to 16, and what I normally do is I get the following year. I'll probably trade in my 15 Pro Max and see what I do about getting the 17. Then I'll think about going back, and I'm thinking since the base Pixel 10 is going to have 3 cameras, so the word is that I may just go with the base Pixel 10 if I get a Pixel at all. That's where my head is at. Okay, so Ted, let's see. Brian says, yeah, but I can't justify the prices. That's my big thing. And Ellie said, truth, Brian, that's why I will have to pass on it. Or any foldable, not going to do those prices. Yeah, and that's why the Open cost me $1,400, and that was the most expensive phone I had ever bought. But now it's a year and a half old, and I'm still loving it, and it still competes very well against the others, I think. So, okay. Ted, are you ready for the next story?
Yep.
This is the one with Illinois. Now, I just said, Illinois, no, you cannot have an AI shrink. And I just thought it was a fascinating story because nobody else has passed a law banning, which I think is a good idea. So whenever you're ready.
Okay. Whoo.
You got it?
Just unfortunate.
What?
The bill.
Oh, I
Illinois
think
becomes the first state to regulate the use of AI for mental health services by Chance Townsend. No, what's worth.
I'm dropping into review.
Illinois is officially staking its claim in the wild west of AI regulation. And hold on, isn't this illegal? I thought the big beautiful bill banned this.
No, they pulled that out of the big beautiful bill before they passed
Oh.
it, which I was very much glad they did that.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
In a landmark move, state lawmakers have passed a bill banning AI from acting as a standalone therapist and placing firm guardrails on how mental health professionals can use AI to support care. Governor J.B. Pritzker signed the bill into law on August 1st. This legislation, dubbed the Wellness and Oversight for Psychological Resources Act, was introduced by Republican Bob, or was it
No, not Republican,
Representative Bob Morgan, and makes one thing clear. Only licensed professionals can deliver therapeutic or psychotherapeutic services to another human being. That's going to be...
I agree with that 100%. I think having AI do it by itself would be totally the wrong thing to do. And would probably kick off more teenage suicides, in my opinion.
We have already heard the horror stories when AI pretends to be a licensed therapist. Is it pretending to be a licensed therapist, though? Or are you just asking it questions that are meant for a licensed therapist?
No. What they're saying is people have been using it as a therapist all by itself. And that's what I'm against also.
Individuals in crisis unknowingly turn to AI. How did they unknowingly turn to AI for help?
I don't know how you could possibly do that, but I guess they must know.
And were pushed towards dangerous, even lethal behaviors, said Representative Morgan in a statement to Mashable. Every day, AI develops further in our country without guardrails necessary to protect people. By passing HB 1806, we are taking action to pause the unchecked expansion of AI in mental health care and putting necessary regulation in place before more harm is done. Okay.
So that's implying that somebody has actually died already.
Yeah, we know people who died. We read stories about people who died.
From just using AI?
Ooh, but AI in the sense of healthcare? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's saying people have died from using it as a therapist by itself.
We know people who died from using it as a relationship, using it.
Well, that's true. And as a girlfriend, yeah, that's for sure.
Under the new state law, mental health providers are barred from using AI to independently make therapeutic decisions, interact directly with clients, or create treatment plans, unless a licensed professional has viewed and approved it. The law also closes a loophole that allows unlicensed persons to advertise themselves as therapists. Okay. Violating the CAC could cost up to $10,000 per offense, with fines scaling based on the severity of the infraction. The law went into effect immediately. Illinois is now the first state to regulate the use of AI in mental health care. It joins a growing list of AI-related laws already on the books, including recent amendments to the state's Human Rights Act. Those changes make it a civil rights violation to use AIs in ways that result in a discriminatory treatment of employees, such as using zip codes as a proxy for protected classes, or to deploy AI tools without notifying employees. The role of AI in mental health care is hotly contested. On one hand, the appeal is clear. With high cost of care leaving millions of Americans without access to therapy, turning to AI can seem like a practical alternative. Yeah, I agree. But warnings from mental health professionals, researchers, and even OpenAI CEO Sam Altman point to serious concerns. At best, AI-driven therapy poses major privacy risks. At worst, it could exacerbate a person's mental health crisis, especially when vulnerable users mistake a chatbot for professional care.
I agree with that.
By clearly defining how AI can and cannot be used in mental health care, we're protecting patients, supporting ethical providers, and keeping treatment in the hands of trained and licensed professionals. However,
I totally agree with the bill, and I can see where the professionals, you're taking money out of their pocket, but by itself, I think it's very dangerous. So I agree with the bill 100%.
I think there's a guy, not a guy, a YouTuber,
Okay.
and I swear he's using AI to moderate his YouTube comments.
Oh, really? Well, I guess people are being accused of that type of thing a lot, but I guess it's hard to tell the difference nowadays, don't you think?
I mean, if I noticed out of the blue, like, I mean, if someone like, gets a suspicion, like it can be so hard to tell.
You could be more perceptive than most. Who knows?
Maybe that's actually true. I mean, let me shine the light on my vanity.
I'm just trying to give you a little credit and say, for other people, they might not notice it as easily as you.
But would you use it? Like, if you had so many commenters, like if you were like at 1 million subscribers, active.
I mean, I can't say I wouldn't be tempted, but my guess is probably not. But you have to remember, as up to date and current as I tend to be, especially for an old person, I am still an old person, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask if I would use it. But because of my background in programming and all that stuff for years, and Eleanor can tell you, I have this very strong tendency to just like new technology, all kinds of new technology. So that's why I use them to like.
Okay, like.
Yeah, I've always been very pro technology. And, people will come, well, it can be used for evil. Well, anything can be used for evil, so that's not a reason to be against anything. So anyway, I probably wouldn't use it without telling people that it was the AI and not me. That would be my guess.
Okay.
So, next one. I just said Apple working with multiple OEMs. So basically, Tim Cook is trying to make Trump happy, and I gather he has made him happy. Apple working with multiple OEMs to invest heavily in American manufacturing, and this was on Tom's Guide. So, Apple announces $100 billion investment in U.S. Here's what it means for the iPhone, written by Josh Render 2 days ago. Here's what will be made in the USA. So going into reader view. Apple has released details for its $600 billion American manufacturing program, which outlines new and strengthened partnerships with U.S. component makers. Part of this commitment, as spotted by 9to5Mac, will see $2.5 billion being used to expand the company's partnership with Corning, the company behind the ceramic shield glass used on recent iPhones and the Gorilla Glass screens seen on many of the best Android phones. According to a separate Apple announcement, 100% of the cover glass for both the iPhone and the Apple Watch will be produced in Corning's Harrodsburg, Kentucky manufacturing facility. However, the press release doesn't mention when this change will take place beyond Apple's release, which states that soon, now we're all suspicious whenever Apple says the word soon about anything. Soon, every iPhone and Apple Watch sold around the world will be built with Kentucky-made cover glass. Samsung's involvement will benefit Apple chips. As spotted by Android Authority, Apple is also working with Samsung to launch an innovative new technology for making chips, which has never been used before anywhere in the world. This will take place at Samsung's fabrication plant in Austin, Texas. Didn't even know they had one in Austin. And will supply chips that will apparently optimize both the power and performance of Apple products. But Texas has become a huge tech hub, especially in the Austin area. Outside of this statement, there's no real information on what this change will mean or what impact Samsung will have when it comes to the next generation of A-series chipsets. This wouldn't be the first time that Samsung has manufactured the chips, with the company having had a hand in the A4 chip, seeing the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 6's A9 chip. I didn't know that. However, Apple soon moved chip production to the Taiwanese company TSMC as its main chip producer, and this looks to be continuing for the iPhone 17 series. Yeah, I would think once you started using TSMC, it's going to be hard to go back because anything else is going to be less. According to rumors, the A19 and the A19 Pro chip could feature TSMC's 2-nanometer process, and they built that factory here just for this purpose. This could bring a noticeable jump in performance for the iPhone, especially when combined with the rumored 12 gigabytes of RAM. What else is Apple investing in? Apple has also entered an agreement with Global Foundries to bring more semiconductor manufacturing to the United States, with the focus being the Global Foundries semiconductor facility in Malta, New York. Didn't know that was there either. This follows Trump threatening 100% tariffs on semiconductor imports. Well, he's more than threatened now. That's our next story. To the U.S. Although it should be noted that TSMC has been excluded from this. Well, yeah, they have a Texas plant. They have 2 Texas plants now, I think. It isn't just production, as Apple will be the first and largest customer for Amkor's new advanced chip packaging and test facility in Arizona, another new facility in Arizona. Considering the recent tensions between Apple and the Trump administration regarding the possible price increases on suppliers, the push to develop jobs and parts in the U.S. could stand as a peace treaty of sorts between the two parties, and I think that's exactly what's happening. At this point, we can't say for certain what this will mean for future Apple products, although hopefully it will help to mitigate the predicted price rises that were expected due to the tariffs. And again, I think that's probably, going to make things better. Now, Ted, the next story is kind of a follow-up to that one. You take that okay, the Trump story?
Sure.
Okay, so Trump announces 100% tariff on foreign-made chips. Got this on Tom's Hardware. And this is where he announced this after Tim Cook made him happy. Okay, when you're ready.
Trump announces 100% semiconductor tariffs. There's no charge for chips built in the US of A. This will affect nearly everything from cars to computers and more. By Joey Morales.
Yeah, good.
President Donald Trump just announced a 100% tariff on foreign-made semiconductors in a bid to force companies to build their chips within the United States or order them from local fabs. According to the Associated Press, Trump made this announcement at the Oval Office after Admiral Tim Cook promised an additional $100 billion in investments to avoid chip tariffs for iPhones. Ooh, yep. Tim is working in his advanced years.
Yep.
We'll be putting a tariff of approximately 100% on chips and semiconductors. But if you're building in the United States of America, there's no charge, says Trump. When a reporter asked him how all of these announced investments would impact the American people, the president answered, "We have the biggest chip companies, the both of them." What? But we have the biggest.
I think he means TSMC and Samsung, because they both have facilities here now.
TSMC? What does TSMC have fabrication labs at?
They created 2 factories already in Texas.
Nah, they're fast. Wow, okay.
Yeah, they started producing the chips for Apple already about 2-3 months ago now.
Okay, well, not bad, TSMC. Huh?
Yep.
That's actually a good thing. Good job, Donald.
I agree.
Good job, Donald. Oof. That was me congratulating Donald.
Salute.
Thank you. But if you're building in the United States of America, there's no charge, says Trump. When a reporter asked him how all of these investments would impact the American people, the president answered, "We have the biggest chip companies, the both of them, but we have the biggest in the world coming in. They're going to Arizona and beyond. And in a short period of time, we'll be making up to 50% of the chips, starting from nothing. Starting from nothing.
That's it. That was a short one, but yeah, Tim Cook has made Donald very happy, and the fact that Trump is now making his own phone, I think he got a rude awakening about having a phone made in America. I think he's now very aware that there will be no such thing as a phone made in America. There are no phones made in America. There are phones that are produced in America by a couple of companies, but there's no such thing as a phone that's made in America. It doesn't exist.
He was specified the chips. That's why he specified the chip.
No, but when he announced his own phone and his own network, he said the phone was going to be made completely in America. Well, in a week, he had already changed that because he got a rude awakening that is not going to happen. So,
yeah, but that was a grift, wasn't it? I thought that was a grift. Like,
No, that's for real. That's for real.
But there was no way he was gonna manufacture that phone. Like, he just bought phones
but
that
I
were already
think
made in China.
But I think until people talked to him, he actually believed it was going to happen. Yeah, now
It
he's
was
going
like
to
the Freedom
manufacture the
phone. It
phone,
was like
but he's
the
going to
Freedom
manufacture the
phone.
phone in China, just like everybody else.
It was like the Freedom phone thing, right?
No, the Freedom phone was a ripoff, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's exactly what the Trump phone was.
No, it's not. It's not a was. It hasn't even come to fruition yet. I guarantee you. I pretty much guarantee you, it's going to be out, but it'll be made in China like everything else.
Hey, I wonder what Ellie was talking about when says my face says it all. What which face?
Let's see. Soon. Ted's face says, yeah, Ellie, we don't know what you meant by Ted's face saying it all.
Yeah, I don't know the timestamp. Like,
exactly. Okay. I got one more story. I guess that one's on me. Of course, the show itself is much better because Ted was here. Okay. I just said, yawn, I'm ready for the next iPhone. I found the story on Phone Arena, and he's just expressing his opinion. And his opinion was, I've never been less excited for a new iPhone. That's why I thought this was interesting. Apple used to surprise us. Now it just updates us. By Peter Kostadinov. And he writes a bunch of their stories for Phone Arena too. But I just thought it was an interesting story. And he makes his point here. And he is excited for the Apple folding phone whenever that comes.
That's coming?
That's supposed to be coming this year. Yeah, pretty much everybody's pretty much accepted that it's going to be coming next year. Ellie said, made that great face about the tariff article. Okay. You remember the face? Ted is frozen on us. Oh, now your eyes move. I thought you had froze. You were so still. Well, you fooled the old man, turkey. All right, back to my story.
I thought I was invisible.
You know who you reminded me of? In Guardians of the Galaxy, where he says, "Yeah, I'm in." Well, and she walks in and says, "Hi." That's what you reminded me of.
But you still saw me, even though I was so still.
Exactly. We're getting a new crop of iPhones in roughly a month's time, but things feel different this time around. No hype, no talk of cool new features, just the regurgitation of the same usual leaks and rumors time and time again. Just thinking about the upcoming iPhones makes me yawn so much I might as well pop my jaw. To me, the iPhone 17 generation is devoid of any speck of hype. There's no potential feature that excites me or fills me up with desire to hold my breath for this September. And I'm the only reason I'm probably going to get one because I skipped the 16. Sadly, there's nothing new with Apple, as Cupertino has pretty much lost the spark that stirred up interest in its devices. It's all formulaic and uninspiring, and anyone I think he meant to say well-versed, with iPhones knows what to expect way ahead of time as Apple has been extremely predictable in its releases in the past few years. The last exciting iPhone model was a few, I think you meant to say years back. To be completely honest with you, I actually haven't been hyped about any new iPhone model since the iPhone 13 Pro Max generation. And the funny thing was, I had the 12, I skipped the 13, and then I had the 14 and now the 15. The only reason back then was the 120 hertz screen on the Pro models. That was true. Everybody was excited about that, as well as the rumored great battery life, which turned out to be great indeed. Previously, the iPhone 11 Pro series stood out. I had that, as it was the first to come with a triple camera setup, and I absolutely loved that at the time. So did I. However, in the past few years, the only new iPhone feature I have felt drawn to was the most trivial of them all, the USB-C port that was mandated by the good old EU. Still not exactly something that could get you hyped about an iPhone. Reuse, recycle, repurpose. The iPhone 17 will score some new features, but none of them will be groundbreaking in any way. At least I don't expect them to be. The Pro models will score pardon me, slightly better and more capable cameras, which should have been done years ago. They will also score a much faster chip, which is a meh upgrade these days. Apple's mobile chips, I don't think it's meh, but he does. Apple's mobile chips already have higher performance potential than what most people have use for. That's true. Same old design, potentially with a downgrade to aluminum. The rumored new copper like color looks cool though. The base model will be pretty much the sixth remix of the iPhone 12 with little changes to the overall formula. Oh, pardon me, the iPhone 17 is likely scoring 120 hertz ProMotion or some gimped version of it, as Apple won't give away the ProMotion name that willy-nilly. It has been embarrassing for Apple to have its base iPhone stuck on a 60 hertz refresh rate until now. Yeah, I'm glad that's changing, at least I hope. And gatekeeps to move the refresh rates as if there's something only Pro users will appreciate. The iPhone 17 Air, not for me. I'm sorry, I can't get excited about a phone with a sub 3,000 milliamp battery and a single camera. I'm with him 100% there. I'd rather use a heavy and ridiculous Android phone with all the bells and whistles rather than a thin and Bendgate Pro and iPhone design no longer cuts it. Design no longer cuts it for me. I'm with him on that. The thick shadow of what's to come. The real reason why I and possibly many other people fail to get excited about the iPhone 17 generation is the foldable iPhone, a device that has been rumored for years now and is reportedly coming next year if the stars align. Yeah, everybody seems to believe so, including me. As someone who has been bitten by the foldable bug, that's the phone that excites me. That's a device I want to see, touch, and use. Enough with these generic iPhones. I want to see how Apple will approach the last device category it's yet to wet its feet in. I want to witness some innovation spurred by the unique design challenges of foldables and witness at least trace amounts of Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive's genius one last time. I simply want to get excited about an iPhone again, and it appears that the only one that could do that for me is the foldable one whenever it may come. Until this happens, the iPhone 17 will remain just a stopgap, one that fails to excite. So he made it very clear. So like I said, I expect I'll be getting one of the 17s, probably the base model, but I'll be trading my 15 Pro Max. If I didn't have the 15 Pro Max, believe me, I couldn't afford it. So, and then after I get whichever one I'm going to get, then I'll probably think about a Pixel, maybe a month or two down the road. We'll see what happens. You have any new phones or anything upcoming in mind, Ted? You know, you hang out with an old man too much. That's why you're so boring, I guess. Okay, so we got through all the stories. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Eleanor said, I am too old fashioned, and she's nowhere near as old as I am. So, right, we got through all the stories. The show is always much. This is your first time in a month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're glad you're here. Hope it's not another one before we get you back.
You're welcome.
So,
you can also
what's
thank
up?
my date that never came to
say it
be.
again?
You can also thank my date that never came to be.
Oh, really? Okay. What's happening with the bicycle? That's always of interest with you.
Yeah, the bicycle is still bicycling on. The front light died, and it also broke off from the attachment. I'm gonna have to give it to the where I bought it from to see if they can work. Although they're not so good, to be honest.
Oh, really? See, I'm very blessed. The bicycle shop that I go to here in Tennessee, they're excellent and they don't overcharge. So,
but otherwise, it's still good. Although on Monday, I cycled with a group of really serious riders, But
you weren't going to work then, I assume you're just riding.
What?
I assume you weren't going to work.
Oh, no, this was after work. Yeah, this was at night. After work. But yeah, I rode with some serious cyclists, and even though I had an e-bike.
What defines them as serious cyclists? How do you define serious cyclists?
A few of them compete, internationally.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's serious.
Like one of them, cycles without any brakes.
Oh, that's a real racer there. Yeah, because brakes slow you down and weigh you down.
Okay, I don't know, fine. I understand that mentality for a velo track, but if you're gonna cycle in the city, have brakes.
But see, I've been following the Tour de France guys for.
I can understand Tour de France. They don't expect traffic.
I understand because of all my years of watching those guys.
Yeah, but Tour de France, they don't have to worry about traffic. But he does.
That's true. That's true. But they still have problems. Like one of them got hit by one of the cars in the group that was filming.
The Pacer cars, right? It was like a car for the event.
Yeah, it's one. Yeah, and now there's every team has their own car, and then there's probably for every bicyclist out there. No, for every team that's out there, you're probably going to see 4 or 5 cars. One of them being the team car, and then a bunch of other support cars. But they have to be careful. And one of them actually hit one of the cyclists about 2 years ago and knocked him out of the Tour de France. Oof, terrible.
Look at Eleanor. Thank you, Eleanor. Thank you. But yeah, so I went cycling with a bunch of serious cyclists Monday, and I found out that my e-bike, even if it was an e-bike, it was not made to hang with them.
Yeah, if they're that serious about e-bike or no e-bike, you're not going to keep up with those guys, those people. Yeah.
I out of just curiosity, I was touching my brakes at the end, when we stopped, and it was burning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you have anything to tell you what speed you're going on your bicycle?
Yeah, it has a speedometer. It has an odometer.
Okay, so mine does too. So what speed were you going?
I was going at 25, but doing the twists and turns, we have to
That's fast on a bicycle.
Yeah, I would have to e-bike hit the brakes for much of the journey so I can quickly speed on. Yeah, and my e-bike is obviously, because it's an e-bike, it has a battery. It's heavier, so
of course
it's just doing more. Yeah, so.
But you commute with that, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah. So obviously, when it came to the downhills, I would lose them, and when it came to the flats, I would lose them. I could only hope to gain on them uphill.
Okay, how fast were they going downhill?
They were going almost 30.
Okay, I think the fastest I've ever gone downhill, I went downhill, and this was back in Jersey in the 70s. I did 45 miles an hour.
Whoa.
That terrified me. Terrified me. Yeah, I would never do that again on a bicycle, I'll tell you that.
The fastest I ever went downhill
scares me nowadays.
The fastest I ever went down was 27.
Okay. Yeah, 25 is fast. It's very fast for me. But yeah, I was riding in across the river from New York City, and there's this mountain area called the Palisades that runs all the way up to the George Washington. Well, it runs past the George Washington Bridge, but coming back down, there's a spot where you can come down. You're going downhill maybe 4 or 5 miles in a row, and I just let my bike go, and it got up to 45, and it scared the heck out of me. Because if something happens at that speed, you're going to the hospital. Nothing else is going to happen.
What was crazy though, last week, we were going down the hill. I think we were going like 25 miles an hour, and this guy wiped out. But
I know he's scraped.
Like I saw him, like he was right next to me too. Like his bike started wobbling. I was like, oh, started like inching away from him.
With the pros, it's usually one's wheel touches the other, but that's because these guys are riding 25 and 30 miles an hour with less than a half an inch separating their tires from each other. So, and you probably have 150 guys in that group. So.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to go to another ride tomorrow.
So you ride with these guys pretty regularly, I gather?
No, yes. Monday was the first time.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not going to ride them again, but there's actually going to be a ride tomorrow, a barbecue ride, they're calling it.
Oh, okay. So that'll be a little more casual.
These guys are going to have their own group, Group A, and I'm going to be in Group B.
So have you joined the bike club or anything, or?
Yeah, I have a weekly bike club on Mondays.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they're pretty casual, but we had a special mashup event where two groups collide in one, and I just let me for this little sprint see how the pros do it a bit, and yeah, I realized my e-bike was not made for that. So
exactly, yeah, it's too
I'm gonna
heavy.
have to think about getting another bike if I'm gonna keep doing these social rides, or because otherwise, I think I've put over 1,000 miles on my e-bike.
Okay, well, yeah, but what is your ride to work? 13 miles or something like that?
Yeah, to go and to come back.
Yeah. So I can see you'd pile it on, doing it 5 days a week, month after month.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've put maybe it was 2,000 miles on my e-bike.
Okay, good. See, I have two separate bicycles, but that's only because I like having a backup bike. So I have a Trek main bicycle, and then I have a batch bike, which is cheaper, but it's good for a backup bicycle. So
okay, I can't rely on. I'm gonna need something for more aggressive than my little.
Well, plus the fact I'm not. I only ride for exercise, so I don't ride. To me, e-bikes make sense if you're commuting, and you commute, so that makes perfect sense to me.
I'm gonna need something. I might need another bike besides commuting, for sports stuff.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Maybe it'll be carbon. Maybe it'll be titanium.
Well, the good thing is at your age, because you're young yet, if you have this habit now and you stay with this, you're going to be in great shape when you get my age.
Hey, good. Something to look forward to.
Bicycle will keep you in great shape. That's for sure.
I want it to be a single speed though. I like single speeds.
Oh, really?
My e-bike now is a single speed. Yeah, the bike I had before that was a single speed.
Okay, I haven't had a single speed bike since I was a kid.
Every time I have a bike with the chain always slips. Okay. At the most annoying time.
Well, I had my chain on my Trek was slipping for a few years, and it only slipped when I have 7 gears, because mine is just an exercise bike. It's not racing. So it has 7 gears. Well, every time I would put it in 7th gear for about 5 years, it would pop off. If I just did it 1 to 6, it never popped off. But he put a new chain on it about a year ago, and it hasn't popped off once. And now I'm using all my gears just great.
Okay. I remember, yesterday too, last week too. One guy fell downhill. Another guy, his chain broke too. That was almost like a
that happened to me. Ride. See, back in the 70s, I was a much more serious, doing 45 miles an hour. You can see where I was. And that happened to me once where my chain actually broke. But back in those days, I got so serious about riding the bicycle. And I used to commute to work. It was about 4 miles, but on a really busy road. But I was so serious about it, I learned how to take that entire bicycle apart and put it back together. And this was on a 21 gear bike.
21 years.
Now, could I do that now? Not a chance, you know. And that, thank you so very much. And
Hey,
Ellie,
Matt.
yes, I saw your comment to Ellie said, great stories. Thanks. Have a blessed week, everyone. All right. Glad you guys were in. So I guess we've discussed enough bicycle stuff. And that was my fault. But I always find Ted's bicycle stuff more interesting. I didn't know you belonged to a club. I think that's great. Anyway, we're done, folks. And hopefully I'll be able to say we'll be back next week. We never know for sure, but that's always my hope. But glad Ted
George
was
will
here.
be back, I'm sure.
Good.
I don't know about me.
Glad you guys enjoyed the stories, and always good to have a great show with Ted here. So good, Ellie. So we'll be back next week. I hope you guys have a very, very blessed week, and let's always remember we all do better when we love each other. Now, what's the song that I sing that always goes with that sentiment?
Ebony and Ivory.
No.
Goes together in perfect harmony.
And Alicia, ebony and ivory go together in perfect harmony. Side by side on my piano keyboard. Oh Lord, why don't we? Gotta get on.
Good enough.
Get on the key.
Was good. Thanks, Ellie. It was good seeing you too.
All right, guys.
Hope to see
We
you.
will see you next week.
Another two ride.
At least you got a different song for a change. All right, ending it up right now.